Hello folks, a very warm welcome to another video here in the Microsoft Sim. This will be a Modders Monday episode featuring a mod for this aircraft. This is the B350 King Air 350i, stock aircraft available in the Sim, and in my opinion one of the most disappointing stock aircraft personally. I know stock aircraft are not, not meant to be sort of pay-wear quality, but this one by default is a fair way off the mark in my opinion, and that's kept me away from it. I think I've flown it once in the whole time I've had the Sim. But anyway, there's been a mod. There may have been more mods released in the past for it, I don't know, but there's been a mod released overnight my time for this aircraft, and I thought I'll install it and go for a fly and see whether it's made a difference to my overall impression of the aircraft. So, Modders Monday, folks. B350i, Raw Flying Doctor Service livery. We begin our journey in a place called Springsure, which is out in the central highlands of Queensland, and we're going to head across to a place in central Queensland on the coast called Rockhampton, or Rocky if you're a local. That's the plan, folks. Not too much to it. It'll be a direct to sort of route, probably cruise at about 15,000 feet, something like that. But before we go flying, let me take you through what the mod does. So over here on the flightsim.tm, TO even, we've got this new mod that's called CptMoustache King Air mod, and it's done by a guy who goes by the name of CptMoustache. Oh, I love that, and I love the avatar as well, mate. Love it. So, what does the mod do? Well, first of all, he recommends that if you've got any other King Air mods, as I was saying, I think there might have been some others. If you do have them, you'll need to remove it. So this mod makes the aircraft behave much closer to his personal experience in similar aircraft in real life. Okay, so he's kind of flown this class of aeroplane, not necessarily the 350. This is what it does. So highly modified the drag lift incident figures for various parts of the plane. That will have an impact. Tweak the behaviour of the engines and the props. Thank you. Increase nose wheel turning angle for tighter turns on the ground. I don't remember how it used to turn. And removed the 170-pound weight in all but the pilot's seat. Okay. Interesting. I'm not sure. Yeah, okay, that has an impact to weight and balance. Alright. So this has resulted in accurate or semi-accurate speeds for stall, climb, and speed in the cruise up high with reduced power. It's also resulted in a greater range. The 350 has an incredible range. It's a great aircraft, really is. Gets along at a fair old clip, goes high, goes far, really versatile, can get in and out of all sorts of places. Yeah, so this means that the aircraft won't take off at 60 knots with half flap. Yes, I remember it was very keen to fly. You'll have to rotate at 100-ish, which is more in line with what the real thing does. And then you can expect that sort of climb performance. Okay, so it's a work in progress and will be updated further. Look, congratulations, CptMoustache. Appreciate your well, I'd appreciate your username first. And but very much appreciate your work on this mod, and yeah, I'll keep an eye on it over time and hope that it continues to improve this aircraft. Anyway, folks, let's go flying. Springsure to Rocky. Right, welcome on board. Virtual cockpit. I just see that the livery creator has managed to get a little bit of promo on the dash. Well, good on you, mate. I hope that gets you some extra views on your channel. So the VC, so this mod doesn't touch the visuals at all, texturing, etc. The VC of the B350 is impressive. I'll give them that, the developers. It looks a lot like a King Air. There's two parts that let me down. Two parts that made me say earlier that it was one of the most disappointing aircraft. So you can get some batteries on, get some power into this thing. One is the flight model and the way it was handling, which just felt So wrong. And the second is this avionics fit out, which is the G3X thing. You know, it's been given some attention by Working Title. I'll give them that, but it's not the G1000 NXI. But even then, even if it was, that wouldn't be reflective of what a King Air has in terms of avionics kit. Not generally, anyway, to my knowledge, and particularly the RFDS aircraft. Oh, have a look at that. That's impressive work on the livery. Really good quality livery. Great work, mate. Check out his YouTube channel. There will be a link to the livery in the description as well. But yeah, the avionics kit out, the RFDS ones have the Proline 21, to my knowledge, a la the CJ4 here in the sim, which I've become quite accustomed to, actually quite like, particularly the Working Title treatment of it. They've made that CJ4 an absolute joy. But yeah, so the 350 stuck with this stuff. This is my least favourite avionics set out in the sim. I'm not a big glass guy. I haven't even been drinking, folks. But I've become accustomed and quite I quite enjoy the G1000 NXI. But this one I just can't get just doesn't have the same feel. Has not won me over. But anyway, we're stuck with it for the moment. Maybe a mod in the future could actually put the G1000s in here. Hey, suggestion to those talented modders out there. So, look, in reality, there's a whole lot of stuff here that's in op as well, right? So I'm going to start this aircraft, but I'm going to take shortcuts by the bucket load. This is not a video for the purists by any stretch of the imagination. I'll put the props full forward. I'm just going to do the absolute least that I have to do to get this thing started from memory. And the fact that I can get away with doing this is kind of an indication of how much attention probably needs to be given towards the systems in this aircraft. Anyway, beacon can come on. We've got the props full fine. The fuel condition levers are at cutoff or thereabouts. We've got the beacon on. We'll start the right engine, which is down here. We should get some movement in the prop, which is down here, N1. I think you've got to wait till about 11 or 12% N1, something like that, and then you can introduce some fuel, which is this one down here. We should see some ITT movement. We should see some torque kick in. A little bit of torque, yeah, slowly but surely. The ITT's building. Props building. All pressure alive, all temp alive. Fuel flow flowing. Alright, we're going to call that a good start. We come down here and put the right gen on. Take the right starter off, which is down here. We can then move to the left. Engine and ignition start. Waiting for that same 11 or 12%, whatever it is. That's a really low ITT. There's 11. We'll move that condition lever to low idle. Introduce some fuel. Well, the fuel was introduced when I jumped into the virtual cockpit. ITT building. Really expecting it to be higher than 345. Alright, looks like it's going to bottom out at, or level out at 346. So we'll go left gen on. That starter can come off. And I'm going to do very little otherwise, folks. I might put a nav light on, might put a taxi light on. But that's kind of all I'm going to do. It's warning me about the pitos. Yeah, okay. They're down here somewhere, aren't they? There we go. Pitos down here. There we go. So I've just got the park brake that it's warning me about. Let me go local Barrow, which is about 1200 above mean sea level here in Springsure. So 2983. I think runway 12 is the plan, folks. Well, let's do that. Let's get out to runway 12, which will be down in this direction, I think. Yeah, windsock I think is favouring 12. We'll go past the Fireys. No Jude. Although I could have sworn there's a mod for making Jude appear. Parking brake can come off. Now give it a little bit of juice. We've got taxi light on. We do. What's happening here? Got some juice happening? Yeah, we do. Are we seeing movement? Slowly but surely. Jeez, he needs a little bit of... Feels like we need way too much throttle there to get moving. Maybe not. Could be wrong. I don't know. No expert in this aircraft or in any aircraft. And we'll taxi down. Runway 12, Springsure. Short flight, folks. About 140 miles. We'll get up to about 15,000 is the plan. We'll dial that into the altitude selector here. As we taxi out. This will be runway 12 down towards the right. The brakes. Taxi down to the right. Continue that. Oh, jeez. Bloody mouse work. Trying to keep it on the strip, fella. Dial in 15,000. You should have done that before you... When you release the parking brake. Get your stuff sorted. I actually want the FMS as a source, which is down here. More options. What can I do? I've got synthetic terrain, synthetic vision on. Wind vector. I want that on. There we go. I'm not going to show anything just at the moment. Yeah, the G3X, for me, I can barely read it as well. Like, I have to zoom in down here to read it, and then I kind of lose visibility out the front. That doesn't really help. I mean, I could zoom like this, get a little bit closer, I suppose, something like that. But then I feel quite cramped. So, I don't know. Transponder, should I worry about that? Yeah, we should. Let's go all to 6s. Come up there, righto. There we go. So we'll chuck a Yui here at the bottom of runway 12, Springsure. I'm sure the RFDS aircraft have made this trip on more than one occasion. Springsure across to Rocky. It's probably, I think it's the closest base to Springsure. Springshore's south of Emerald, out here in the Central Highlands. A lot of mining and agriculture out here, folks. Good hard-working people. Right. Now we're going to high idle on the condition levers. Get ourselves sorted out with a heading alignment. What else do we need to worry about? Probably take some flap. We'll take that. Trim should be right, shouldn't they? I reckon. Everything else good. Bit of landing light work. Bit of... we don't need recognition lights, but I'll put them on. Just leave them there. Yeah, there's a whole lot of other stuff you should do, folks, like arming stuff. And I'm just not going to do it. I want to go flying. See how this thing feels, how it handles. Here we go. Bring that power in. We start moving. We'll call that sort of power set. About 97% torque. Looking for a rotate of about 100 knots. Master caution. Oh yeah? What's that for? 90 knots. Coming up through 100. We can probably rotate about here. We will. Off we go. Flight in balance. There we go. Positive rate gear up. Runway heading. For a little bit. There we go. Those flaps up nice and early. This thing wants to go. Righto. We saw a pitch down when we got rid of the flaps, as we would expect. We'll climb out at about 150 or 160 knots, which will give us a really nice climb rate. And we've got a left turn to make. Come back on the power and on the props a little bit. Keep that 160-ish. We're up to 170 already. We might take up a heading of about 040. That'll be our intercept track to take up our direct route down to Rocky, I think. Nice day in this part of the world. We'll go outside and have a look, folks, when I get Georgie settled here. Really wants to climb. Fantastic. Alright, so we said about 040 on the intercept track. No, I'll make it 050. What's 10 degrees between friends, hey? Alright, so we'll go heading bugger line. So we'll go flight director. We'll go heading hold, yaw damper, and autopilot. There we go. So there's our heading. Hold. Now we'll intercept the magenta momentarily. 180 knots we've got. 180 indicated. Going alright, climbing at 2,700 feet a minute. That's handy. So after takeoff checks would probably be gear up, which is the, and flaps up, which is the, and we're all good. And you'd be checking pressurization. I'm assuming the pressurization doesn't work here. That's my guess anyway. Take you outside as we await our intercept of the course. There she is, that's gorgeous. Gorgeous terrain, clouds, the livery. Great work on the livery, mate. Whoever you are, love this stuff. It's really good. Call this a dirty livery. Oh, that suits me. Fly a bit dirty, particularly when I've got Jude on board, which unfortunately is not today. I'll have to make do with a dirty aircraft instead of a dirty co-pilot. Folks, I'll get us into the cruise. 15,000 is the plan, and I'll rejoin you up there. There we go, folks. Settled into the cruise. Lots of mines out here, as you can see, as we travel overhead at a leisurely 15,000 feet. Let's jump back inside, see how we're doing on the numbers. So, let me zoom in down there. So we're doing 305 over the ground at 15,000. That's going all right. We're going to be there in less than 20 minutes from now. So we're trucking pretty well. We've got a light southeasterly that's not doing much in terms of giving us a tail or a headwind, really. Direct to Rocky, yeah, ground speed of 305. Our TAS is very similar at 306. We're kind of up against the barber pole here. We've pulled the props back a fair way, 74% on the torque. The ITT for me feels a little bit low. 92% on the N1. I don't know what the book says you should fly at 15,000 feet, or what sort of flows you should get. I'll take the modder's word for it that whatever's on here is more accurate than the default B350. Folks, I might rejoin you for the approach into Rocky. There won't be much to this flight. The purpose of Modders Monday is really just to highlight the great work done by our modding community, and to sort of publicise that work, and in my own way to thank them for that work. So hopefully that has some benefit to both the modder and to the community at large. And while it does, or while I think it does, I'll continue to make Modders Monday episodes, as long as they continue to provide quality mods for this sim and for X-Plane. I'll continue to do these videos when appropriate. Folks, I'll join you for the approach into Rockhampton. Alright, we approacheth Rocky. 165 on the indicator. We're going to join a sort of an extended right base. The field's down there, folks. We've got the mighty Fitzroy River here in Rocky. It's the Fitzroy, isn't it? I think so. We might go give Georgie a rest at this point, so autopilot can come off, your damper can come off, flight director can come off. And sort of head more towards the field. And through 3,900, we're probably on profile, close enough to thereabouts. We are slowing. So the field's sort of out that way. She's a bit brown, a bit dry. Often is this part of the world. So yeah, a very long right base here, folks. We are 12 miles apparently from Rocky. We slowed right down, probably slowed down a little early. I was a bit concerned that we'd come in a little hot, but I think that those concerns have been allayed. I was kind of hoping to approach at about 180, instead we're approaching down at 160, something like that. So we might just accelerate. Sort of, we don't need to be descending that quickly either. Field is over there. That's a little chime to say that we've busted through our altitude. And we know that. Tell me something I don't know, Georgie. Yeah, we'll turn back sort of more towards the field here. This will become too long an approach. I don't have that much time in my day. There we go. Head more towards the field. More direct routing. About 180 odd knots. We've got a pretty high flap extension speed in the Kingy, I think. 180, 190, something like that. It's pretty high. So we can take flap when we need to. We don't need to right at the moment. 8 miles away. Yeah, we definitely we flew a long-winded approach there, which is going to make for a long-winded video. My apologies to all viewers for that. I'm going to have to listen to an extra couple of minutes of my waffle. Yeah, it is the Fitzroy River in Rocky. Flows out into the Pacific, out into the reef. Feels like we're getting a little bit low now. Yeah, I'm sure the RFDS make much more expedited approaches than what I'm doing. Here. 5 miles away. Hopefully the wind... Well, what's the wind doing now? The wind's changed on us. It's now an easterly at 10 knots. And that's not helping us get to the airport any quicker either. We're flying a very oblique base. We've gone from a true scenic route to a very weird approach now. What we might do is 180 knots. I'm going to guess that we can take approach flap at this point. We'll probably take gear not too long after that. The field's sort of down there at 1 o'clock. River on this side. There she is. Beautiful. Yeah, the field's down here. We might take gear as we can, and we'll approach maybe at 110, you know, 100 to 110, something like that. If old mate the modder, CptMoustache, has got the numbers right, that'll make for a relatively normal approach with reference to the real thing. I don't want to get too low here, 140 knots. We can take final flap when we need to. Get the props in. Yeah, let this get a little bit low on us. 140, we need to slow down from there. Completely improvised approach here. Runway, what I think is runway 15. Yeah, now we're slowing. About 110, so that's kind of where I want to be. I can hold it there. In terms of running a checklist, yeah, nah. I know the gear's down, I know the flaps are down. That's all I'm going to need. Here we go. About 105. A little bit high now. We don't want to get too slow and just drop, you know, sort of thump this on though. Oh, 15. Definitely going to have a bit of a crosswind from the left. 104, 103, that's alright. Speed's holding well. Crosswind from the left. Here we go. See how we do it, folks. Wish me luck. Power off. A little bit of right boot. Oh, yeah. It's alright. We've gone alright. A little bit of beta. Beta work. It will. A little bit of braking. We'll get off at one of these taxiways. Sweet as. There we go, folks. We'll get the flaps coming up as we vacate. Folks, that has been a Modders Monday episode featuring a new mod for the B350 King Air. Thanks as always for your company, and we will see you in the next video.